explained. And these 8 verses also describe the mood of Srimati Radharani, the main consort of Lord Krishna, the highest devotee. So today we want to look into different examples, Shastric references, how do we relate to it, what is the benefit of it, and why should we strive to achieve this level of unconditional love and unconditional giving and unconditional service. It is stated in the Srimad Bhagavatam, ahaituki apratihata yenatma suprasidati, that the soul can be happy only if he or she is engaged in uninterrupted and unmotivated devotional service. Uninterrupted and unmotivated. At the present moment, we practice interrupted and maybe motivated devotional service, and this is why we are not happy. Bhagavatam says, Yena Atma Suprasidati. It means that Atma, or the soul, can be happy only if it is engaged, or she or he is engaged in uninterrupted and unmotivated devotional service. We have different examples in the Shastra of detachment. We have Queen Kunti praying to the Lord to sever the ties of affection. So now somebody may think this is cruel, to sever the ties of affection to your family. Why should you do that? That's crazy. It's very natural that we love our family. And this is why we need explanations of acharyas, of the Shastras, I would say, especially for some verses, because we may misinterpret them or misunderstand them. So, in the purport to the next verse, to that verse in the 8th chapter of the 1st canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, Srila Prabhupada explains that to tie the bonds of affection doesn't mean that we should stop loving people. No, it means to understand that the relationship should not be based only on the body, should not be based on the body, but should be based on the soul. So, Srila Prabhupada says that finer sentiments and different feelings or emotions, like affection for others, they cannot be abandoned. They are naturally part of our mood, of our mentality, of our consciousness. But the quality has to be changed. And the frustration comes when these emotions are not pure, and they're contaminated by selfishness. They're contaminated by different material qualities like kama, krodha, lobha, mada, matsarya, and moha, lust, anger, greed, madness, illusion, and envy. But when the emotion is pure, then the soul experiences the highest pleasure, the highest bliss, and the highest love. And this pure emotion is possible when someone has unconditional love and unconditional giving. What does that mean? It means giving without expecting anything in return. Now, not by accident, I did a search on YouTube for unconditional love, and there is one young gentleman from England explaining. He said, unconditional love, that's crazy. This is masochistic. You love someone, they hate you or they torture you, and you still love them unconditionally. Well, this doesn't mean that somebody tortures you and you just tolerate and love them. You can love them, but you should not tolerate torture. You should do something about it to protect yourself. So he doesn't understand. He doesn't have this information. And if I find his email, I will write him and tell him that, unconditional love is not what you mean it is. Nowadays you can contact anyone, anytime, especially if you have a contact details. And because internet allows us to communicate with people who are teaching something that is not right, or they don't have enough knowledge. So it is our duty to inform them that there is another understanding of unconditional love. So there are so many amazing stories in the scriptures of love. Maybe sometimes it's not 100% unconditional, but it was amazing stories about love. And there is a story of Haridas Thakur. He was a pure devotee and he was meditating, he was chanting, and then some people became envious of him and they sent a prostitute to make him fall down. Of course, he was celibate, he was a brahmachari. And she came respectfully and tried to inspire him to unite with her, as it is said by Srila Prabhupada. And he didn't say no. Of course, he could have said, no, just go away. I'm not interested or something. But no, he didn't say no. He said, just wait. I have to finish my rounds. I'm chanting, how many? 94? So, and you know, I don't eat, I don't drink until I finish, I don't sleep. And when I finish, I'm going to fulfill your request. But somehow it dragged on, the rounds couldn't finish. The night came and she left, first day. Second day, the same thing. On third day, every time she came, she would bow down because he was chanting in front of Tulasi plant, which we also have here, a holy plant. And so she would do some devotional service. She would make some advancement. She would experience some purification by doing this. And she would also offer respects to Haridas Thakur. And he was young, handsome, in full power. He could enjoy like anything. So every day he would say, please wait until I finish my rounds, but she couldn't wait. It always became so late. And the third day she started crying and she said, oh, I was sent to make you fall down. I'm sorry. Please save my sinful soul. You're a saintly person. And please become my guru, become my guide, become my teacher. And he said, I knew all this. I knew what was your intention, and I knew that you have a potential to actually change your mind and to become a spiritual person and to give up what you are doing, the prostitution, which is sinful. And then he gave her instructions. So he loved her so much that he didn't see her as a threat. He didn't see her as a threat, but he saw her as a soul. He wasn't attracted to her material body, although she was very beautiful, but he wanted to actually benefit her in a spiritual way. And she became so famous that people from all over India were coming to see this wonder, this miracle, how a prostitute became a saintly woman. Then there is a story of Savitri and Satyavan. Savitri was a daughter of a king, and when she grew up, father requested her to get married. But she said anybody who was chosen to be her husband, she didn't like. Then father said, you can choose your own husband. And she was so beautiful when she was a girl that everybody was very attracted to her, but nobody dared to venture to become her husband. Nobody dared. And then father said, okay, all these amazing, princes and people and boys, nobody dares to. And she was very beautiful, super beautiful. But somehow they didn't dare. And father said, okay, you choose your husband. And she she went to the forest once and she met Satyavan, who was also a prince, but his father was banished to live in the forest. And they lived in the forest in a very simple and modest way. And she liked him. And she said, I want Satyavan. But Satyavan's fate, Satyavan's destiny was that he would die soon. He would die soon. And they told her this. And she said, I don't care. I want him. So she came back home after she met him, and somehow her father and his entourage, they actually got to know about this. Narada Muni came. Narada Muni was not pleased. Narada Muni said she made a mistake. This is not the right choice. But she didn't care. She just wanted Satyavan. And once, when he went to the forest to pick up wood, he died. And she followed him, and she saw that he died. And Yamaraj came to take away his soul. Yamaraj is the god of death. He takes away those who depart. Now, as he was going away with the soul of her husband, she was following him and praising him and talking to him philosophy, talking to him amazing wisdom. And he became really intrigued. Who is this girl? How she can speak like this? So he decided to give her benediction, anything except the life of her husband. But she continued speaking. She continued speaking, following him and praising him also. And finally, he agreed to give her benediction again. But this time he forgot to say, except the life of your husband. Actually, she said, I want to have a child, but if you take away my husband to the kingdom of death, how can I have a child? And I don't want to have another husband. I'm a chaste woman. So she is an example of chastity, loyalty to her husband. And he said, okay. And Satyavan, he woke up and he didn't know what was happening. Then she told him what happened. He didn't know that he died and things like that. He thought maybe he was fall asleep or something. So her love was so strong and her chastity was so strong that she conquered the death of her husband. Now tell me about any more romantic story in any world literature. Have you seen more romantic story than this one? So even the best romantic story is there in the Vaishnava literature. This is from Mahabharata. Story from Mahabharata. So there are many stories like this. And now Srila Prabhupada has given us these books, and we are reading these books, and sometimes we come across these points about unconditional love. So if you go to the chapter 4 of Antya Lila, which we read this morning, or chapter 20 of Antya Lila, chapter 4 of Adi Lila, chapter 20 of Adi Lila, where is description of Shikshastakam prayers, and the last verse that I mentioned at the beginning is, there is so many descriptions about unconditional love. So Srila Prabhupada says, unconditional love means giving without expecting anything in return. If I give you something and I expect something in return, that is business. There is prayers in other religions, God gave me this, God gave me that. So God give us daily bread, our daily bread, and if you do not give us our daily bread, we don't love you. So this is not pure love, this is not unmotivated, this is not unconditional love. And I think that God has given us challenge to all the humanity to develop this unconditional love. giving without expecting anything in return. But this is not possible if you don't love God. This is not possible. Only if somebody loves God, he can see everyone as their brother and sister and love them unconditionally. Every living entity. And when you have partnership like husband or boyfriend or girlfriend, then you always expect so much in return. And if you they don't do it, you become so hurt. But if you can develop this ability to love without expecting anything in return, then Prabhupada says you experience real happiness. You experience real happiness. So what is your happiness when you are giving, when you are serving, when you are loving? What is your happiness? What do you get out of it? You get out of service. You get out of making other person happy. In the material world, there is some little example of that. Mother is so happy when her child. Mother will not eat. She will starve, but she is happy if the child has eaten. Of course, it's not 100% because, for example, if the child grows up and doesn't listen to the mother can even get angry and abandon the child and things like that. But this is we would say closest example in the material world of relationships where mother gives lots of unconditional love. So now I'm sure that some of you have tried to love and give unconditionally. And then you became disappointed when love was not returned. How many of you have this experience? Most of us. Most of us have this experience. And I had a lot of tests because I was preaching about unconditional love last 1 year. And I have a lot of heavy tests. So be careful what you preach. Be careful what you pray for, because the Lord will test you. And it was so hard. It was so hard. You start with unconditional love, but slowly you slip into possessiveness and selfishness. Slowly you slip down and you start to suffer like a dog. You start to suffer like anything. But if you keep your consciousness high somehow or other and continue like this, trying to be in that mood of unconditional love, you can feel really great. Or sometimes you have to suffer for some time, experience this deep pain, and then because of attachment, and then the Lord removes it and you rise up again. You rise up from agony of attachment. There is one Muslim woman, maybe you have heard about her. She is prominent on the internet. Her name is Jasmine Mogahed. She's an amazing preacher, and she has described the difference between attachment and love. So attachment is selfish and love is selfless. Attachment has to do with your needs. I love you, I need you. What do you need me for? To fulfill my needs. But love is, I love you, I want you to be happy, I want to give to you. This makes me most happy when you are happy. This is what Radharani says. I don't care about my happiness. In the Antya Lila, Lord Chaitanya, in the mood of Radharani, he speaks. So I don't care about my happiness. If my unhappiness makes Krishna happy, I don't mind being unhappy. Whatever. One girl once said to one boy, "Don't get attached to me, because many people have got attached to me and they suffered because I didn't want them." And he said, "I don't mind the pain. You are worth it. I don't mind the pain. You can reject me, but I still love you." But people are afraid. If you are rejected, you will suffer. So what kind of lover are you? When is the point when you give up? How many times you have to be rejected to give up loving? So you can test yourself by this criteria. What kind of lover are you? You know, when do you give up? Now it's enough. I have loved you so much, I have given you so much, and you didn't reciprocate, and now I'm fed up. I'm fed up. I will not love you anymore. So that means you didn't even love in the beginning. You didn't love. You were just trying to get something for yourself. So basically, in the material world, people don't love, they just want something, to get something from that person. And I have people in my life who don't give up. I have several people who told me, I want to be with you eternally, and almost all of them gave up except one person. And I don't know if it has to do with the previous life relationship or whatever, but I'm just amazed how somebody can do that. And of course I told them, I mean, this person didn't know about Krishna consciousness so much, and I said, well, this is not possible on the material platform, we are going to die. If you want to be with me forever, we have to go back to the spiritual world, and there we can be forever, I mean, with Krishna forever and with each other and whatever. And fortunately, that person became a devotee and initiated and chanting and so many things. So this eternal love is possible in the spiritual world. So if somebody is dreaming about eternal love, I love you forever. But how can you love me forever? I'm going to die in 10, 20 years or 50 years. So this is possible only in the internal world. So it is interesting. It's a great challenge for us to think about love, unconditional love, giving. We know that love is reciprocation, giving and receiving. We know that. But still, the Lord is teaching us, and acharyas are teaching us to give unconditionally, to love unconditionally. And just see, you have your own experience, how long we are trying to be devotees, how long we are failing, and He doesn't give up on us. He's still there, He's still encouraging us unconditionally. It's called unconditional positive regard in psychology. Always there to support us in one way or the other, forgiving so much. In my country there is a saying, who throws a stone at you, who throws a stone at you, throw the bread at him. Throw bread at him. So I feel like this, like we are betraying Krishna in many ways, but He's always still supporting us. And it's sometimes you feel bad about it because you are not reciprocating with Him. When He is giving us unconditional love, He is giving us causeless mercy and causeless love. We are experiencing. And our teachers also are so patient with us. They're giving us so much support and causeless mercy and unconditional love. So we also should be ready to give this to others. We should be ready to give this to others. And then this is, I think, when we can be happy. When we are really in that place of consciousness where we are always ready to serve, always ready to give. I have experience of, I would say, investing in relationships without any reciprocation from the other side. A lot of experience. And then what happens, in many cases, after several years, people start to reciprocate in some way. And the best reciprocation for this kind of investment, I would say, in people, is when you see that they become like this and they start to give unconditionally. This is the best result of giving unconditional love, when they become selfless. So I have a very nice compilation of quotes from the Shastra, which we will not have time to go through. Maybe when I give classes, I will take a couple of them each class or something. But if you're interested to have that file, I can send it to Gaur Hari Prabhu or someone else, and they can share with you. Srila Prabhupada's statements about unconditional love, and yes, and then you can read them, and I mean you can share them. We can discuss them. You can ask questions about them if you like, or whatever. And I want to end here and invite all of you to come on Wednesday and Thursday at 4:30 to 6:30. We will have a seminar called Success Partnership, and we will speak and practice how we can help each other succeed in a systematic and structured way, in devotional service, in life challenges. Not so many devotees are stepping forward to be mentors or coaches or counselors, and therefore we have to arrange something so devotees can support each other. And this success partnership is also present in the business world as peer coaching, where so-called equals, it doesn't have to be equals, it's just two people who want to help each other. It doesn't have to be peers, people of the same age or of the same status or whatever. It doesn't have to be that, but two people who want to help each other. And I will give you structures how you can do that, and I believe this will help you a lot, and this will also please Krishna to help devotees help each other succeed. So if you have time, please come. Wednesday 4:30 to 6:30 and Thursday 4:30 to 6:30. In which room?
We'll do that in the Mataji Ashram upstairs, the big seminar room.
Big seminar room, yes. So please come and bring anyone you like, your neighbors, friends, relatives, colleagues, family members, devotees. You can please inform devotees whom you think they will be interested. And we have a small success partnership guide. We have some written material that you can take away with you and use it. We have outlined these structures, how to do these things, and I have started doing this. I'm not speaking theory. I have started doing this myself with not one devotee, with several devotees, and it helps me a lot in my spiritual life, and it helps them also. So practical and tangible results are already there, and you can also benefit from them. Thank you very much. Do you have any questions? Two. Oh, who is first?
Thank you for a very nice lecture. I just, from my how I feel with this unconditional love, I can imagine that on level of pure love, that it's very beautiful. When one understands his own position of God. But I'm wondering if there is no some kind of expectations which are, at least for us here, which are like natural and maybe healthy even, because I can imagine that every relationship is exchange. So even mother and child, there are some expectations. I mean, even on a pure level, we are hearing sometimes there are so many tests and so many actually also kind of expectations.
So what is your question?
Yeah, if there is not kind of expectation which is actually also kind of pure and not conditional.
I was speaking about this in Zagreb, and Bhakti Baba Swami was sitting in front, and he asked me the same question about expectations. And I said that it's not that you don't have expectations, you have expectations, but you're not attached, that they are fulfilled. If they are not fulfilled, you're ready. You're ready, and then you will see how you deal with this. And if somebody is exploiting your kindness, exploiting your unconditional giving, then you will not, you're not naive. I say, give but don't be naive. Give but don't be naive. So, you don't allow people to, exploit your kindness. Because conditioned souls can do that. They know how to do this. So we don't allow this. This is not good for them, and it's not good for you. It's not that you become like a masochist and just let people torture you or whatever, squeeze you out. No. We expect, but if they don't, then we deal with this by using our intelligence. We deal with this intelligently and see how to do. And you can say, I can tolerate 3 times that you cheat me, but then 4th time we have to discuss it. So it also has to do with forgiveness. Also, you can forgive, but then Prabhupada also says, he said like 3 times we can say okay, but then now we have to take some measures. So, yeah, to be practical. Yes.
Thank you. Prabhu, it was very interesting. You made really nice points, really nicely connected with the philosophy and the stories. And this question came up, like, especially at the start when you were saying that, relationship should not be made on the body but on the soul. So my question is can conditioned soul give unconditional love?
Somebody asked me this. I said, I'm going to give you a prize. It's a great question. It can try. And by trying, get purified. Yeah. It is difficult for a conditioned soul to give unconditional love, but because the soul has this potential, the soul is originally pure, the soul is originally Satchitananda, part and parcel of God. It has a potential to love unconditionally. And I will give you a quote where Prabhupada says we all have this potential in our heart for unconditional love. I just read it in the room. This file, you should get my file with quotes. He said we have this potential. Okay?
And so when a person, for example, because I see this with spiritualists when they try to give unconditional love, but instead of, because you're aspiring high, but actually in the heart it's not fully there, that blossom love, then it comes through as impersonal. So I feel like it's very sometimes connected how, I'm just, serving God and I'm just serving you, but because my heart is going through whatever, then it feels sometimes like in the name of unconditional love, in the name of God.
I don't understand. Give me an example.
An example is, I am worshipping or I am doing something for Krishna and I am, somebody may ask me something, may ask for my love or may ask for my attention, and I am like, no, I have, other, I am giving you love by just doing my service. I cannot,
You're giving your love only to Krishna.
Like, in the name of, doing something higher and then neglecting the most basic need. Oh, but I just need,
We don't neglect anything. We don't neglect anything. If you love unconditionally, you don't neglect. You don't neglect people's even material needs. And we don't want to neglect devotees in the name of loving Krishna, because Krishna will not be pleased with that. If you love a whole, you love parts of the whole also. So Krishna is the supreme whole. And so he will not be pleased if we don't serve devotees and love devotees. I love Krishna, but I hate everybody else. This can be, especially devotees. Some people think that devotees are especially great obstacle to their spiritual advancement. Therefore, they try to distance themselves, practice alone, or associate with people who are in the mode of goodness and who eat meat and drink wine. So, and also not only eat meat and drink wine, but they also behave at times in a very, very obnoxious ways. So, yeah, if somebody loves God, then he actually loves everyone in the optimal way. Okay, thank you very much. Oh, yeah?
I remember once I was giving a Sunday Feast lecture about pure love, and at the end I had some devotee who came to me and said, "Thank you, it was most discouraging lecture ever." And I think sometimes when we go to this highest thing, one sometimes might feel discouraged. Oh, I have tried, I have heard so many times, I cannot do it. So I'm just wondering, I have 2 questions, maybe you choose on this. One question would be, how can we deal with the guilt that is happening to the devotees, thinking, oh, this is what I'm supposed to be, but I'm not yet here, and often there is this type of guilt that sneaks in. And the other question that could be chosen is, what would be the intermediate step to go through this pure love according to where we are. You can choose whatever.
Prabhu, you're a perfect success partner. You're a perfect success partnership, because this is exactly the goal of success partnership or this mutual coaching, is to find these steps from where we are to where we want to be. What is the first, second, third? Perfect, excellent, fantastic. Thank you so much. And guilt, as long as the guilt is healthy and it pushes you up or it pushes you forward, it is okay, this kind of guilt. But if it just drags us down, we have to discuss this with someone and see why we have this so much guilt. But feeling of guilt, repentance, all these things, they can be used in a healthy way and in an unhealthy way. So we should be intelligent enough to use them in a healthy way, use them for our advancement. But what you are saying is actually compassion. It's mercy to create steps. We speak about bridge preaching. We speak about building bridges for people. So Rasamandala Prabhu said something. Sometimes I feel in our movement that we have institutionalized failure. Like everything we do, every level we are at, we are actually not good enough. We are failing. If you don't have second initiation, you have first initiation, you have failed. If you're not initiated, you have failed. If you are not a GBC, you have failed. And so we should institutionalize success. This is why I'm saying about success partnership. Saying success, so that we should create small victories, so small successes for devotees, small steps. And I see one thing that is lacking in this world is positive encouragement. Tons of it. Positive encouragement. Someone believes in you and tells you, you can do it. You have a potential. You can do this if you see people as souls. You can do that. So I will include this in the seminar. Your first lecture, you said steps, Satchidananda Swami. What is the next step? This word is so important. What is the next step? What is your next step up? So this is a wonderful point. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for this thing. We need to do this. We need to create steps for people. How to go? Next step. Somebody chants 4 rounds and you tell them, you didn't chant 16 rounds. Useless. No, 4 rounds. Wow, this is 4 times 1 round. You used to chant 1 round. Now you're chanting 4 times more. Great, fantastic. Here is a sweet for you, or picture of Krishna, of the deities. Just continue. And you can feel to increase to 5 or 6. Then we will celebrate again. Okay, thank you. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.